So I'd like to first start off. I'm going to go ahead. It's now 7:05. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my PowerPoint. And I'd like to start off with who I am. My name is Daniel Williams. I'm at the Orland Park Public Library. I am the IT2 here. So that means that I usually handle around the building, around all the computers and all the servers and everything like that. I'm around this whole building doing that. Also, I'm at the desk to welcome you sometime when you come in, but mostly I'm out on the floor. So as we begin, welcome to the Orland Park Public Library presented by our IT department. My name is Daniel Williams. I am the presenter and you're at iPad 2. It's going to be the iPad class we're going to go into is details about how to use the iPads, okay? So let's get started. First of all, let's get started on some of the functions on the iPad. Now, I just like to say that depending on your iPad that you have, there are different functions on each generation of iPads. Not that much different in some way in some of the functions, but they are different in some ways. So some of you are going to have some of the things that's going to be a little different on there. Like for instance, headphone set. You should have where you can plug in your headphone set to your unit. It might not be in the same area and spot of this one that's shown illustrated on the screen, but you do have one for your headphones. Then you're going to have on the top right, usually going to be a sleep button, a sleep or wake button. When you push this button, what it does is that it puts your iPad to sleep. It does not it does not power it off. You would have to hold it for a longer time to power it off. And depending on your iPad, some iPads, you can hold it for about over 5 seconds and it'll bring up the to log off screen where you slide it to the right. And some of them you have to use that sleep button and the volume up button to actually get it to go to sleep so you can actually power it off. Because when you hit the sleep wake, it's always going to be on, but it's in Apple products. You can have it in that dormant stage for a long time, and that battery life is pretty good. So it's not going to pretty much mess you up at all. But then on it, you have a status bar that's on there. You have your applications that's on your iPad. And then you have your screen locked, your up and down volume, and you have speakers that's located. Now, depending on the type of iPad you have, some of them got a home screen button at the bottom in the middle of the screen where you can push that button, which will bring you into your regular home screen. But the newer ones, like the iPad Pro and some of the newer generations, they do not have that button in there. You would only swipe up and then you're able to do your functions just like normal. And the newer iPads have 4 speakers compared to some of the older ones. Then you usually have your power supply, which is a 10-watt USB, and then you have your connector. Some of these have like 24-pin connectors, and you can plug those up to your computer if you want to transfer all your information from your iPad to your computer. And as long as you have iTunes, you could actually go ahead and connect it to iTunes and download all your information. If you took a lot of pictures on it, got a lot of apps and backup, you can back them all up on your computer by connecting this USB connector that shows on the bottom of the screen. You hook it up to your computer and then open up your iTunes account. And of course, I'm quite sure you probably have an iCloud account. And if not, they will get you started on that. And then you could back up everything that you have on your iPad to your home computer. And that way you won't lose anything if you need it. Okay. And next is another This is on the USB-C. This is the newer one, which is the iPad Pro. And of course, you can see it has two rear speakers and then have a USB-C cable, which is totally different on this pad. And on the top, it has two more speakers. It have actually four speakers on that. And go to the next one. And in reference to it, it has a sleep button on the top. And they're all basically the same. They're not different in any kind of way. They still have the same button on the top and the volume button on the right-hand side. Most iPads does have that. That's pretty much Apple stayed with that. The camera, you have a back camera on there. You have a flash and a mic on there in the back. And on these, the newer ones, this particular one, I think it has 4 microphones, 3 to 4 microphones on it. So it'll pick you up pretty good. So you don't have to worry about your voice sounding scratchy or everything, because it's different mics around the whole thing that picks your voice up and enhance it a lot for you. Here is another picture, just showing you, illustrating again. This is the Pro. Some of you guys may have older iPads or not. Of course, I had to use an up-to-date one. That's the newer iPad, and it has, like I showed you, it has 3 microphones. Like I said 3 to 4, but it was 3, and it had 4 speakers, like I said. There's a mic on the side as well. It's really nice. And then on the right-hand side is a magnetic connector. And usually for that connector, you would have your pin that comes with your, well, it doesn't come with it. You have to buy it as an accessory, which is going to cost you a little extra. But it's the pin for drawing and not touching your iPad, keeping fingerprints off of it. Then the purchase of a pin is very helpful. And then, of course, you have your camera, and your camera depends on your camera. The camera and the newer ones have the pixels a lot higher. You're looking at like 24 megapixels, and it's a lot higher than the old one. So the pictures are really, really good. Then you have your SIM card, where you can put your SIM card in a tray that's located on the side. And that's some of the functions on the newer iPads for like iPad Pro. Now, right now, we're going to get into some of the functions once you go inside of your iPad. Once you're logged in on your iPad, you want to go in. It usually looks kind of like this on the newer ones. A little different if you got a different iPad, but it does have that. If you swipe, I think if you got an older iPad, if you were to swipe to the right, it will come up with the screen that has the weather on it, and your regular home screen will come up there. And so these are some of the functions on the iPad. Get you familiar with the docking base and everything there on the bottom. And so I'm going to go through some of the functions of this. So we have Safari. That's one of the things. Safari is a browser for the internet. It's kind of like if you were using a regular computer, if you was using Internet Explorer, if you're using Firefox, if you're using Chrome or any other browser. Apple has Safari as its browser. Now, if you decided that you really like to use Chrome, you can actually download that app on there. All the apps on your iPad or any of your Apple products have to go through your Apple Store. And that's where you would pick up all the different apps. And you go through your browser and you can find pretty much. Next one is the mail, where you can go set up your mail. And this is so that you can set up all your mail. If you have a Gmail account, if you have a Yahoo account, or OL account, all those, you can link them up to this one mail and look at all of your mail in one application. So that's what that for. So you can also set that up. The next one is photos. So whenever you're taking pictures with your iPad, the photos looks like that. That's where you would go look at them to see how good of pictures you took and where they are located. They're going to be located in the app called Photos. And the next one is the iPod. If you have an iPod, this will link to your iTunes account, and that for you to listen to music. So what you would do is, if I do have an iPod, and I have it hooked up to my computer because I have all my music on my computer. Well, what happens is that it'll link to that. It'll find the iPod, and I could select different songs or movies or anything I want to transfer it onto my device, and then listen to it at my convenience, away from walking or jogging or whatever. The next one is going to be the calendar, and in the calendar, what they did is pretty nice on the calendar, because now you can also, when you get in the calendar, it has you to set up, you can set up events, all the different events that you have, the appointments you have. You got a doctor's appointment. If you have to go pick up groceries, if you have to pick up prescriptions, if you have to have any appointment, and dealing with this COVID right now, if you have to have an appointment at a certain time, COVID, it can be set up in here, and it'll give you an alarm as well to let you know that it's time for you to set up for your appointment. So you can have it to set up on an appointment, say like an hour before, or 2 hours before, or continuously. That is for your calendar, and you can set that up, and it's not that hard. It's just following the events, and it runs you step by step through that. The next is going to be the contacts. The contacts information is from all your information that you put on here. You can have information for as depending if your phone is connected, because some people have services through T-Mobile or another AT&T, and some of these you're able to download, and you can even talk to people on your iPad, dealing with the services that you have. And also that your service, it usually looks different, because on the back of the iPad, it'll have a strip, which that strip is usually black, and it connects to the internet. And if you have a service provider like I said, T-Mobile or AT&T or so on, and you paying a monthly fee for your internet service, you don't need a Wi-Fi. In other words, that if you came in here, you can open up all your accounts. But if you decided that you want to go on the internet, if they do not have a Wi-Fi, then you cannot get on the internet. Well, that's pretty much everything. So what is available for you, you able to go ahead and purchase with AT&T or T-Mobile, and you're able to have a service, and you pay monthly for that service for your internet, and you're able to get internet anyway. So if you're driving out of town or whatever, and your device will be able to get on the internet at any time. So and then your contact information, you can have all that stored in there. All your emails, all that information is stored in there. You can have all that stored in there. Your iPhone actually connects to it, and you can actually transfer all your phone listings to your iPad. And that's pretty cool, because if you lose your phone, you damage it, and you got all the information in there, oh, you need to contact John, because you're supposed to have an appointment with him, and you forgot his phone number, and you lost your phone, or it got damaged. Well, you can go to your iPad and pull up John's number, and then use another phone and contact him. And the next one up under that, I'm going to leave from that and go to the next one, notes. Notes is where you can put notes in here, short notes like reminders, grocery list, like if you want to get that together. And Actually, you could have it to send you emails to your phone or to your email that will alert you that you need to pick this up today at such and such time. You can have times or to alert you. Um, Maps, that's another one. Maps show you pretty much all the areas around that you need to go to in the world. If you want to go anywhere, it can pull up all the maps and give you a guide through how to get there to and from. Um, or you can make it to find the location you're at. And of course, if you have Wi-Fi, that's when it's gonna work for you. You don't have Wi-Fi or paying for subscription service, you will not be able to use that map because it's going to be difficult to. I mean, you will be able to use it to find your areas, but it can be more like a GPS. In other words, the if you had Wi-Fi or a connected service, you can use it as a GPS that will give you location to location, but it has to know how to do that, and that usually takes. That's why your phone is capable of doing GPS because it's constantly connected to the towers. Well, if this device was connected to the towers, you're able to use that map, and it'll do just like your regular phone and find locations for you in a bigger with a bigger screen. The next is videos. You're able to play videos on here, download the videos on this. Most of your downloads and your podcasts, and if you do that, and most of the videos that I have are usually through on iTunes. And I have to go through iTunes to load these movies up. Like I have maybe 600, no, I'd say about 1,500 right now. 1,500 movies that's on my Apple account and my Apple TV, and I'm able to download those movies onto my device. So if my my iPad Pro, if I see that I can pull up the movies on there before I leave the house and say I'm going on a trip and I'm going to be in and out of Wi-Fi and I don't have either a hotspot or any way to get internet service, I can download all those movies onto my device, and that way I can watch them at my convenience without having the service. And then you have YouTube. YouTube, it gets you online with YouTube where you can go browse there. And YouTube is a good, I just want to iterate on YouTube because YouTube can help you out throughout understanding your devices. YouTube, if you like, and if you take YouTube, you can use it as a tool that'll help you find out information about all the functions of your iPad. If you had things around the house, you got a new phone. If you had bought a new Yeti's microphone, if you bought a new computer, if you go on YouTube, you can more likely you'll find a video that shows how that and how the functions on it. The thing with YouTube is that I tell everyone and who comes to my class, I usually tell them YouTube is a ticket that actually visually show you a video of someone actually doing the function. All you have to do in the search box, if you have a specific thing that you're looking to do, like say for instance, you want to set up your email in your iPhone and you want help and walk through, there is a video for it that walks you through step by step to show you how it works. And I think, I'm more of a visual person. So the YouTube video helped me out a lot and got me out of a lot of jams by watching that. And I was working around the house. It was telling me how to do plumbing in the house. And I pull up video on that and it showed me how to take the pipes out correctly and what to buy and everything else. So it's pretty educational if you use it as a tool. The last thing I want to talk about is iTunes, which we did talk about that a little bit. The iTunes, you can search on the iTunes for music. You can look for audiobooks, TV shows, music videos. You can browse through all kinds of things. You can download and purchase movies on this device. Of course, whenever you purchase, you have to set up with Apple. They have you set up to get that. You have to put a credit card or some kind of form of payment in the system, so you'll be able to purchase anything. You would have to have that set up. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next. Okay, next we have learning basic hand gestures. I think it's really important that we learn hand gestures. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's not that hard. It's just like to do it after a while. You learn it for a while. You start doing it and you start understanding. Like for instance, touch one finger slightly on the screen, and then touch and hold. These are some of the functions on the screen. You touch and you hold the button down and the app down. I'm going to go more in detail what it does. You can swipe up to move with one finger, swiping up from the bottom. You can scroll using the top, going down and going through a scrolling type of deal here. Swipe to the left. And I'm going to give you some information on how to do some of these in a video here, if I can get that going for us here. And just check this video out, and this will probably help you. So I don't know if you're getting audio, because I'm not getting audio, but it's going to show you how to unlock the screen. It's showing you the passwords that you have to put in your ID and your password to get in there. Then it says add an app to the dock, and it shows you him holding his finger and him pulling it down to the dock area down below. And it says show on dock. And when he touches it, it opened up all of his pictures. So, and then he tapped on the bottom and pulled up to hold the dock there. And then he takes his finger and he pulls the dot down to hide it. And that's real simple. And like I said, I don't know if you can hear the audio on this, because I thought it was working, but it's not working on my end. So I'm just going to walk you through this. So then it shows you to swipe between apps. And then it says the left finger to right finger. And your iPad is going to be totally different from some of the other iPads. So you might not be able to swipe like some of the functions on here. So I just want to let you know. You open your app. You can open it and have all your apps on the screen. Use the app switcher to swipe up. And that will actually, what that actually does is it actually remove your app. Let me just go back to that real quickly. So when he swipes upward, he's actually removing the app from there. That means he's closing it out. So it won't show up again. It's not all these apps that you see on the screen currently now, these apps are active, meaning that you can open them up at any time. You was working on them at one time, they're still active, and they're still on your screen, and they're still, you can open them and watch whatever you have on them, or read whatever book that you have on them. So that's the difference. When you swipe up, that just only get it. As he touched one button, it pulled up that screen, and now he's able to look at that. And then he do a quick swipe toward the bottom, and then he does a pinch. The pinch actually closed it up, the 5-finger pinch. Then he's scrolling through all the different apps. As you get more apps, you can scroll through all your different apps. Press and hold the icon, and he's just showing you how to do that. That's what's in his folder. It'll go to the central station control center, usually at the top. Some of you guys on your screen, it probably won't work on that because you got a different or older generation. But this is the control center that actually handles most of your notifications and everything like that. So he swiped down for the notification center to go to, and I just notify him of all the information, you know, new what's going on in the news, all alerts, everything like that. And then you go to switch an iPad. Um, you got to swipe down in the middle for the home screen, and that'll be the home screen of the iPad that you can swipe up and down. You can use series. Now, I'm going to pause it right there because series is another way that I help you guys out. If you're struggling trying to open up things, find things, or do any of the functions on it, series is there to help you far as virtually, far as a voice wise. Now, I have at home is I usually have Alexa. I got Alexa at home, and I have Google at home. My Google Hub at home, I can tell it to do anything: turn off lights, turn on TVs, things like that. And pretty much Siri is pretty much the same thing. Now, what you want to tell Siri, you can tell Siri, open up the App Store because you're looking for a certain app. And then you can say, hey, Siri, open up the App Store. It'll open up the App Store for you. And say, hey, Siri, could you find the app for Boost Mobile? It will go through there and it'll find that app and pull it right up for you. So you don't have to do that much searching. If you wanted to say, hey, Siri, could you open up the settings? It will open up the settings for you, as well as it'll open up the cameras or any other commands that you have. So with that, a lot of people have the series turned off. If you're really struggling and if you need some help with it, I will suggest to use series. Series is there to help you scroll through the things and find them fast without you getting all frustrated and upset because you can't figure out how it works or how it's doing. Series is there to take you through there. If you want to set up an appointment, you can say, hey, Series, I want to set up appointments. And it'll take you to the appointment screen where the calendar's at and everything like that. It'll help you out through there. So I strongly suggest you to utilize that as well. It'll help you out a lot. So again, like I said, series is a good one. All you do is hold the button down on the top and touch it real quick, and series will come up and ask you, what do you want to do next? How can I help you? You can take screenshots by if you press the button in the volume button, it'll take screenshots of whatever you're working on. So if you were, for instance, if you were working, you seen an article you were reading and you really like that article and you say, you know what, I want to know if I can get a copy of this. How can I get a copy? Well, actually what you could do is take a screenshot of it by using that one button on the top in the volume up button at the same time, and your device will take a picture for you. Of course, you know, and I would like to iterate, certain generations do not have that function. It's a different function on there. Usually when I do classes, I try to be broad and get into all different functions of each one of these different styles and different generations of iPads. But unfortunately, since we're in a pandemic and everything else, I'm limited to an hour, which I have to be finished at a certain time. So I couldn't go into everything. But I just want to say that taking a picture of it, you have it and it saves it in your file and you can look at it later. Okay, even articles that you pick up. So it's pretty cool. So you can put it to sleep by pressing the top button, which all the iPads have that function. And wake it up. You can tap the screen, or sometimes you can just push that button on the top. You're going to do a force restart of it. because which is the arrow up and down key, and then you hold the button on the top right, and then it should go into a restart. And when the restart is, usually you see the Apple logo, and that's it. So that's what I have on that part. Let's see here. Okay, so back to the control center. I like to, when you go to the control center, you have music at the top where you can play music. So if you have music on there, you can hit the play button. It'll bring up your music list and you can start playing music through there. The functions on the left-hand side is for airport mode. So if you're flying on an airplane, this is what you'll use. Put your device on airport mode. And then you have your Wi-Fi signal. So if this is turned off, that tells you that you do not have Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi is turned off. To turn it on, you would tap that to turn it on. It'll take you into a different screen so you can activate your Wi-Fi. In your signal, should I say. This shows your signal and this is your Wi-Fi. I really apologize that. So if you get this this triangle, and this is show you actually it's showing you how powerful your signal is. And then over to the right, you see in a corner that is your Bluetooth. And this here you connect it to all your Bluetooth devices. If you had an earpiece, if you had a speaker that's maybe you're over a friend's house, you can connect your device. Your iPad has a Bluetooth loaded on it. So you're able to connect that to a Bluetooth and another device. So if your friend or your family bought a box and everything, and it has a Bluetooth capability, you're able to pair that together and play your music through that device. All right. And then we have the lock screen, which is the white with the lock on it to lock your device. Then you have to the right of that, you have the moon, which is telling you want it to set it for a darker mode. If you go all the way to the right, you see like a sun, that's for lighting it up and lighting your iPad up. All the way to the right, that's going to be your sound. If you want to change your sound, turn it up or down, or preference that you want. Then your screen mirror is to connect that. I'm able to connect to my smart TV. So I'm able to take my iPad, connect to my smart TV, set it on screen mirror, and everything on that iPad will be on the TV screen. If I had movies loaded on my iPad and I want to play them, I can play them on my iPad and it'll play on the screen. So it's compatible on that. It's really cool. You have a flashlight on it, which turns on a little light on the back where you take pictures at. Well, it's also a flashlight too as well. So those are one of the functions that you have. You have a timer on it. You have a calculator on it where you can pull up your calculator, and then you have pictures if you want it. So your main control center on the iPad, usually for all of your different functions, if you wanted to get to them real fast, you can go through the control center. And next we have to add Wi-Fi. I'm going to go into the settings. So the settings, if you look all the way to the right, you'll see a thing setting. It looks like little gears here. These are your settings. It is a application, or should I say an icon on your screen that actually looks just like this to your left. And you tap on that, it'll get to your settings to set up your iPad. So when you do that, you want to go ahead and set it up as Wi-Fi. As you can see, airplane mode on it and everything. So the first one, the second one that you see the picture of shows the Wi-Fi. It has on the right side of it the name of the Wi-Fi. So if you go over to number 4, you're looking for, okay, my Wi-Fi could be Wheel 2000. So I set mine up as Wheel 2000. So when I get home and my device is on, I'm going to look for Wheel 2000 on the Wi-Fi because that's the name of my Wi-Fi in the home. And when I find Wheel 2000, I see it up there, which you can see as Cleveland Media is what it is. I select that. It's going to ask me for my Wi-Fi password. So I have to enter my personal Wi-Fi password to get on my Wi-Fi. And if you're on, say you're on a friend's or someone else's Wi-Fi, to get on there, everyone has it blocked. These days, it's not really free until you get to like a Starbucks or your public library or things like that, where you get it free. But usually when you're at home, this is how you get to it. And you want to also make sure, number 3, that your Wi-Fi is turned on. And this is the way. Usually people leave the Bluetooth on, but if you're not using it, you can have it in an off position. So I'm going to go through some more functions here because I got a lot to cover here. So excuse me if I go a little fast, but I know we don't have much time. So this is the Bluetooth. When I click the Bluetooth on, if I had my iPad and I have the iPad Apple Pencil for iPad, which is Bluetooth compatible. So once I turn that Bluetooth on, it knows this is the pen. Well, it shows on the screen that your Apple Pen is connected. And if I have an iPod or AirPod, anything that I have in my ears and they're Bluetooth compatible, once it'll pair to them, it'll show that I'm connected on here. So this will let me know every time I go in here on my Bluetooth what is connected and what's not. So when I touch Bluetooth, it shows me on the right-hand side all my connections. And if anyone else is broadcasting in Bluetooth and is active, it will show them, you see where it says other devices? These are other devices that also is on Bluetooth that you're capable of connecting to. Notifications, if you touch notifications, and then that'll bring up all the notifications on your device. And you can turn them on or off depending on how do you want them. Notifications just let you know anything coming up, like say there's new videos coming out. You see Amazon videos, you see that's off. Well, they turned it off because maybe they were advertising a lot and send a lot of notifications about different movies that's coming out all the time. And it'll constantly keep sending you everything. So this individual decided to turn it off. Your app store, of course, you want that always on. And all these are on. If you wanted Chrome to send you anything, you can turn it off. These are notifications to let you know different advertisements, different purchases and everything like that. These notifications will notify you on different new products that are coming on. So it's really up to you if you want to go ahead and turn those off or not. But make sure that it's nothing that you use. Say if you are a Facebook user and you turn off the notification from Facebook. So if someone was trying to send you and you connect with a person on your computer using Facebook and you turn it off, then you're not going to get any notifications. So you have to have that on. So make sure whatever you turn off, that is something that you don't need at that time using your iPad. Next is general. General is very, very important. General is pretty much where you're going to find about your iPad or anything else. If you were to go on the hit general, you see where it says on the top about. If you go to about and you want to know what type of iPad you have, and the information, what kind of storage it have, all the information about that iPad, and find out the item number, the serial number, all that. That's going to be an about. When you touch that, it'll open up and it'll give you all the information about your iPad. And if you're interested in finding out something, you had questions on it, you want to research it on Google, that's where you get all the information from and write it down, and then you can search on Google. Okay. And let's go through some of these here. Software updates. This is where when you touch that, immediately it'll start going and turning and is searching for updates. This here is when, so if you want to know, sometime you'll have a triangle looking deal, triangle looking, orange looking deal that's by your, usually on the, it's going to be by the settings. And usually you'll see a little triangle on it. That's usually telling you that you need an update. It's an update that's missing. So you want to open that and find out what that update is and try to get updated. And just be aware that Apple does have a lot of updates. So they want to make sure that they're protected and no one hacked their system. And so they just like to do a lot of updates and patches and everything on their updates for security purposes. So I just want to let you know what that is. And that's where you can do your updates. Spotlight searches. Spotlight searches. This helps you to find your photos and everything else and music and everything else. So when you go in there, if you're looking for emails, if you're looking for contacts, movies, anything like that, the spotlight would help you find it. And if you had a Mac computer, it's the same thing. Spotlight is usually on the top of your screen. I mean, top box of your menu on the top. But on here, you can touch that and do a search, and you can find pretty much anything that you're looking for that is on your iPad. And this is things that's on your iPad. So if you're looking for music, and certain music that's already on your iPad, this is what you use the spotlight search for. Okay. Handoff. Handoff is a feature that's on the iPhones, iPads, and everything else, Macs, and it lets you start something on one device, and then you can transfer it to another. It's a pretty cool device that, say for instance, you're currently on your iPad and you are reading a book and you wanted to share this or put it on your, say your TV, you got an Apple TV, or say you want to put it on your regular iMac computer, or say you want to put it, it's on your Apple on your iPhone and you want to put it to your iPad or vice versa, or however you want to do it. Well, this is the function that you use. It's called a handoff, that you're able to just go through those functions. And as long as you have the same iCloud account on both those devices, you can always just hand off and it'll go from one device to another device. It's pretty cool. And if you want to really get in that and you don't know how that works, again, YouTube is a good way to find out how to do that. Okay. This is something on Handoff that I pulled up too. And this here on Handoff was a video that I was going to get into, but I'm just telling you how to turn on Handoff. You have to turn it on all your devices. You see this individual, they have a iPhone in their hands. They have to go into AirPlay and Handoff to have it turned on both the devices to be able to transfer and hand off the information there. So if you was watching, you were on the internet and you were watching a real, or you seen something that was really important and you wanted to watch it on a bigger screen, well, if you had a handoff, you can hand it off and it'll pick up from one device to the other device. I think I'm going to go ahead and push play and see if you're going to show us a little bit of that. So since I don't have audio, I'm going to try to dictate some of this. And as you can see there, he's showing that what's on this other screen. He opened up his going to general, and then he go to AirDrop or handoff AirDrop. He makes sure that those are turned on. And then he do the settings there, go to general, and he's going to make sure that handoff is turned on. And as long as they turned on, now he's doing it on an iPad, and Handoff is turned on. And with that turn on, that means that he's able to get any of the information and transfer it over to the other unit. So now he's over in the same supply using the arrow up, the upload box. That's the little box at the bottom with the arrow going up. He's able to switch over to each one of his devices. That's all I'm going to show on this because we got a lot more to cover. And that's something about the handbrake, so you'll know about it. I just wanted to update you with that and let you know how that works out. All right, multitasking, let you quickly switch from one app to another app and at any time. Multitasking. Well, multitasking is really simple because if I open up, say I'm watching a YouTube channel and I'm pretty much saying, you know what, I want to find out, they say something that was interesting and I want to do some research. Well, all I have to do is swipe up, which will continuously hold that task for me until I go into Google and I go in Safari, Google what I'm looking for, the name, find out the information on that, and then switch back to open up YouTube, and there it is. I'll do the gesture where I just use the fingers and it'll pop open and it show each one of the multitasks that I opened up. And again, that is something that we can go in details a little later. We can talk about that. Next is accessibility. This you get accessibility on the iPad and provide many accessibility. So if you're having trouble with your vision, or you got physical or hearing or anything like that, and you're having trouble with that, when you use accessibility, that helps you because it goes into setting your iPad up for a specific issue that you may be encountering. Your vision could be poor, and it could set it up that all the text in here are larger so you can see, or if it's hurting your eyes, it can switch it up, or if you can't hear it, it can change the tone so you can better hear it, or the learning needs, it can show it in a different way. That's when you use accessibility, and it's a pretty nice tool as well. And it just shows some of the things I just showed. Accessibility, what you can get, your voiceover, your zoom, your magnifier, display, your text size, motion, spoken content, audio. These are some of the things that you're going to get on your accessibility. And if you need to work on it, say like if you want it for motion, you can set it up for that. If you want it for zooming in, you can turn it on. Magnifier, of course, turn it on. These are things that you can try. And then if you don't like them, you can always just go back to this accessibility and turn it off if you don't like it. Okay. Okay. In general, it's pretty much, you can go in there, open up the app, you can share, or the share button. And if you want to do AirDrop is another one that you could share item. If I have a smart TV at home that accepts it, I can AirDrop on my device, my iPad from home, and go like this. Like I can do that from my Android phone. So if I'm watching, say, a video on there and I want it on my screen, every time I get close in my network and all of my devices are on the same Wi-Fi network, they read and know that I'm close to the TV. It'll be a small little icon that you can touch, and it'll take everything from your devices right onto your screen. That is pretty neat too as well. And if you ever want to do searches for any of the things that I'm talking about, you write them down like you see AirDrop here. And what you want to do is take that information, write it down, how to on YouTube and how to use AirDrop. It will show you a video and show you exactly how to use AirDrop. And it's pretty cool when you get in there. So some of the other things, Control Center, which I went through some of that with you earlier, it's just a reoccurrence. So right now, it's going to be questions and answers. So I will try to answer all of your questions as possible. And then before we leave this the meeting, and if I don't get to all of your questions, just give me feedback. I have my email at the bottom, which is dwilliams@orlandparklibrary.org. You can email me any questions that you have on your device, and I'll try to get back to you in a very timely manner. And anything else, and we're going to start asking questions here in a minute. So again, this concludes my iPad, so I'm going to get some questions real quickly, and we're going to get it started. I'm just waiting on the system here to get going. So the Q&A, let me see here. I don't have any questions at this time. I'm just totally bombed. I'm showing 13 participants, and I'm just ready to get the Q&As going here. So if you have any questions, give me a call. And it appears that my Q&A, and if you are leaving something, I don't see anything yet on the Q&A yet. But if I don't get to your question or anything else, I seem to be having a little problems. If I don't get to any of your questions, you can always drop that email again. I'm going to put that up for you here in just a second. And at the bottom here, this is going to be, you can contact me at dwilliams@orlandparklibrary.org. Now, so you'll know that these tape recordings are recorded and they will be available on YouTube. We have our own YouTube at Orland Park Library. We have our own YouTube there. So if you go to YouTube, you can put in Orland Park Library, get on that, and it have all the videos of all the classes that we do here at the Orland Park Library, and you're able to look at them at your own convenience. You can also go to our Facebook, which we have an Orland Park Library Facebook, and you can watch these over here. Usually it takes, I was saying, like 2 to 3 days. Actually, it has been taken like the next day to be there. So you can watch this entire video again at your convenience at home and watch it over again. If you had any questions, you could still use that, my dwilliams@orlandparklibrary.org, and you can ask me as many questions as you like. And that's going to conclude. I don't have any more questions. I don't know if it's, I'm having malfunction here because I don't see any questions. I see a lot of people on, but I'm not getting a lot of questions. But if you have any questions, like I said, use YouTube. That is your way to a good way to find out how it works. Okay. And I want to thank every last one of you guys for taking your time out of your day, your 1 hour of your day, and sitting here and going over some of the functions with the iPad with me. In the future, I probably will be making some more classes, probably having some more, hopefully when the pandemic over, we'll have classes open that you can actually come to the classes. And also that if you like, I will be having some more Apple products classes like iPhone and probably iMac computers, and putting that out there. Pretty having those classes coming up. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and or should I say a weekday, since the weekend just passed, and have a great one. And that concludes my function. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you.